Ireland just about get over the line under massive pressure from Italy. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Brilliant performance from Italy in this game. Not so much from Ireland, honestly. Italy absolutely monstered them in the scrum. Really good line speed in defence. Looking dangerous with ball in hand as well. And yeah, Ireland maybe a little bit lucky to get out with the win. But you also have to give credit to Ireland, the fact that they were able to turn the game around in the second half. So let's go through what happened in the game and then we'll take it from there. So first up, we had, let me just get it here in my notes. So early doors, Ireland looking to get the ball into Balakoon's hand. I thought he had a great game for Ireland. Showed really good feet. Dancing down the line. Italy also looking to get to width when they turn the ball over. Both teams playing kind of similar defense type of umbrella up high press. And therefore the space is at the width. But Ireland at times kind of reverted to more of a passive defense, allowing Italy, to get good yards as they were just kind of soaking in defence. So Ireland kind of switching between the two, depending on where they were on the field. Italy then, very good line speed and looking to pick off Irish passes at pretty much any opportunity. Ireland going to the air, and we have both Lowe and Balakoon claiming clean catches early on. Ireland then win a penalty at the first scrum as Fischetti gets pinged. That's not something that it continues for the rest of the game, because Italy from then on just absolutely dominant in that scrum. Ireland go up the line into the 22. They go off the top of the line out. They go right then back left, where Lowe gets him within a few meters before we come back for a penalty. And it feels like, a little more patience may be needed there when we had penalty advantage, because I think Prendergast tried a little grubber kick through that wasn't on. Sheehan then taps the penalty. He gets penalised because he jumps into the tackle. And again, just silly mistakes like that, stripping Ireland, of any reward for that early momentum. Garbisi then with a nice crossfield kick, taken absolutely brilliantly by Lina. He gives it to Menoncello, who puts in a grubber, but it runs dead. But still very inventive from Italy. And you can see, their willingness to play on the edge and take those little chances that sometimes come off and sometimes don't, I think is very admirable. Lina then goes to the bin for, he's adjudged to have prevented a line break from James Lowe. Maybe a little unlucky, as looked like he was going for an intercept, but maybe not very realistic that he was actually going to hold the ball. It was one of those where he stuck his hand up in the air and kind of tried to bat it forward and then regather, but it didn't come off for him. So he goes to the bin. Ireland then break up the left. Balakoon and Lowe combining well, but Ringrose gets isolated. Zuliani turns it over for Italy to clear. And, good signs from Ireland, but great defence from Italy. Ireland then continues to put pressure on. Good carries from Clarkson and McCluskey into 22. Then they go left. McCluskey involved again. Strong to the tackle. Offloads to Osborne, who goes over to score. Very poor conversion miss from Prendergast. 5 points to 0. And, if they're starting him, they need another kicking option in that team from the tee, I think, at the minute. Izuchukwu then playing Zambonin in the air at a line-out. Italy call for the tee. Garbisi makes it 5 points to 3. We then have a loose kick from Prendergast, gathered by Paddy. He chips and gathers, beats Prendergast and then looks to offload, but it's knocked on. And if that had gone to hand, it would have been in for a try under the sticks. Italy now coming forward. Some good work from Ioane and Pani. We have a Timo check for head-on-head contact between one of the Canones and Casey. Casey goes to the bin, off-field review. Honestly, I've seen those types of tackles, given as just a penalty, because a lot of referees are saying he's passive in the tackle, he's absorbing, and therefore it's a low degree of danger. But that's not how it was seen in this case. Italy then kicked the corner. Ireland initially hold them all, but then Italy begin to edge it forward. Nicotero goes off the back and manages to get it down to score. Garbisi converts, 10 points to 5. Italy hit the lead. Italy then win a scrum penalty, and we then have a round of handbags. I think it was because Italy continued to drive after the penalty was awarded. We then hear that Casey's yellow is going to stay yellow, and as it should. Italy win another penalty as they just drive Ireland off their own ball at a scrum. Garbisi goes to the corner. Casey back on the field. Ireland halt them all. They're forcing Italy to move it. Then McCluskey strips the ball from, I think it was Menoncello. And that's it for the first half. Half-time, 10 points to 5. Into the second half, Ireland bring on Tadhg Furlong at the break. And one good thing was, like, Ireland actually going to the bench a bit earlier, because before it felt like a lot of their, substitutions were very prescribed at certain times, etc., and not really taking account of the momentum of the game. Would have liked to have seen, though, Edwin Adogbo brought on a little bit earlier. Ireland then win a penalty as Marine doesn't roll away. They kick to the corner. They go to the front. Then to pick and goes, and Conan gets over the score after Lockman went close. Conversion missed again, 10 points all, and another poor attempted conversion from Prendergast there. We then have another scrum penalty for Italy as Ireland stand up under pressure. Garbisi kicks them into the 22. Ireland compete for once at the line out, and this is Duke who steals it, and they're able to clear. Again, so frustrated about how few times Ireland actually compete in the line out. We competed in a few. We didn't win every single one, but at least a little bit harder for Italy when we do. Italy then finds space on the left. Menoncello with just an out the back of the hands pass to Pani, who goes to the line, but Osborne tackles him into touch. Good defence there, because it was basically, last ditch defence, had to make that tackle or Italy were in the corner. Italy then going through the phases in the Ireland 22, making good ground, but Doris manages to turn the ball over for Ireland. And there was a couple of times as well, I know you could hear it on the ref mic, where he felt he'd gotten over the ball but wasn't getting a reward for it, and then later he actually gets pinged for hands on the ground. Ireland then strike again. So Marine breaks the line after good work from Menoncello. It is Italy, yeah. What I was saying, I've written down Ireland for some reason. But yeah, Marine breaks the line. Good work from Menoncello in the build-up. Then out to Lina, who goes over in the corner. But we have a team more review, and it's so clear that final pass is forward. No try let off for Ireland. And it's one of those ones where, like, it looks even worse because the ball is going miles forward. But it's obviously the fact that the ball is coming out of his hands forward initially is the issue, because obviously we all know the ball can drift forward because of momentum, but in this case that was, it didn't go, it wasn't momentum that put it that far forward. Ireland then win a free from a scrum, and it's punted downfield by Prendergast. Italy let it bounce, and Kelleher claims it really well, and they then work it into the 22, but Lamoureux turns it over and Italy able to clear. Ireland trying, at this point to seize the momentum, but Italy come forward again. Ireland looking a little bit rocky in defence, as Italy just finding gaps here and there, as they're keeping that momentum going. Ireland now come back. They're into 22. Izuchuku carries well wide on the left. They come back inside, over to right, and then McCluskey to Balakoon. Lovely step from him. Over he goes to score, converted by Crowley, who produced an absolutely brilliant pass in the build-up as well to actually get Izuchuku free. 17 points to 10. Ireland now applying pressure, and Italy looking a little bit panicked as they kind of scrambling to kick clear. Ireland then threatening the line, and they win a penalty. Crowley pops it over for 20 points to 10. And, that was, I think, a measure of the respect they had for Italy at that time, because they're on three tries. And imagine, like last year or previous years, that would have gone to the corner and they would have been looking to, get their bonus point try. But there was no thoughts of that. It was like, let's get beyond the score. Then Italy, another absolutely massive scrum for them. The point to the post. Garbisi makes it 20 points to 13 to bring them back within a score. Italy then back on the edge of the Ireland 22, going through the phases. Ireland standing up in defence, forcing Italy to kick. Ireland able to claim and clear. Then Doris gets pinged for hands on the ground, and that was shortly after him asking the referee about the fact that he felt he was over the ball at a previous ruck. Italy kick up the line into 22. They tap back off the line out, and then they kick over the top. Lowe lets it bounce. Marine knocks it on. If you had to gather that, he was in for a try. Ireland, though, kick clear from the scrum. Italy then come again looking for a final score and a possible draw. Adogbo told to leave it. He does, but the penalty gets awarded anyway. Garbisi kicks to the corner, but he actually kicks it short. Balakoon, maybe not switched on, can't hold it. So we've got a line out to Italy, close to the line. They go through the phases, 5 meters out. Ireland's defence, though, looking good at this point, drives them back. James Lowe then gets into the passing channel, intercepts, breaks, knows he doesn't have the pace, so he puts the brakes on, waits for some support, and then Italy get pinged on the edge of the 22. Ireland then have a penalty, and Crowley is kicking to the corner. Clock is in the red, and he kicks it dead. Full time, 20 points to 13. And that was a bit of a sad end to the game for Crowley, I think, because his impact off the bench was so good, and just to have it kind of tainted a little bit by that. But at the same time, I feel that justice was done, because Italy's performance deserved at least a losing bonus point out of this game. We're going to have a look at the stats, and then we'll talk about each of the teams. So let me pull the stats up here on the official website. It will let me. There we go. Okay. So first of all, possession 52 to 48 in favour of Ireland, and territory 47 to 53. So Italy, playing a little bit more in Ireland's half, Ireland having slightly more of the ball. Attacking minutes then 20.1 to 19.2. Ireland getting 3 tries from that. So round about a try, just under every 7 minutes of attacking rugby for them. Italy just a 1 try, so it's obviously 1 try in 19 attacking minutes. Carries down 145 to 130. So we're seeing Italy were last on number of carries last week against Scotland, where they only had 84. It just shows you, in this game, how much more of the ball they had, that they're basically able to, add more than 50% to the number of carries that they had last week. Meters gained then 816 for Ireland and 748 for Italy. Meters carried, meters gained 457 to 441. So very similar figures for the teams there. Line breaks then 9 for Ireland, 8 for Italy. Defenders beaten 32 for Ireland and 26 for Italy. So Ireland, about 1 in 3 defenders beaten converted to a line break, and a similar number as well for Italy. Total pass then 201 to 160. Offloads 9 each. Handling errors 10 for Ireland, 15 for Italy. And then turnovers conceded 14 for Ireland, 21 for Italy. So most of those stats are very close. It's just those handling errors. Italy with a few more than Ireland, and maybe that was, in the end, the difference between the teams, because there certainly were, scores that Italy kind of left out there because of handling. Ireland somewhat similar. Kicks and play then. 28 for Ireland and 22 for Italy. So last week, I think Italy were the lowest kickers of any of the teams with 30. So every team in the 30s, or like we had, I think France with 40 and England with 42, actually in the 40s. But here, kind of returning more to normality. You normally expect between 20 and 26. So 28 is not too far out of that. And 22 for Italy is pretty much spot on. Kick meters then 702 to 536. So that tells you Ireland kicking slightly longer than Italy. Still think Ireland's kicking game wasn't great. It did improve. I think, when Crowley come on, and Gibson Park, Gibson Park was one of the culprits last week, but I thought he was better this week. Casey, a little wayward, especially in the first half early on, some dodgy, up and unders or box kicks that he put up as well. And then, short tackle kicks, 13 to 14. So in terms of percentage of their kicks, much more than any team that we saw last week, really, more short tackle kicks. But again, I felt that Italy, had a better kicking game of the two teams. On to defence then, number of tackles, 144 for Ireland and 168 for, Italy. 26 tackles missed for Ireland, 32 for Italy. Ireland then 77% tackles made, which is not great, but it's better than the 66% they had against France. So at least an improvement in that area. And I've thought, in that second half, the last 20 minutes, Ireland's defence kind of went up a notch when it needed to. Italy then 79%, which I think is down on, because I think they were in the 80s against Scotland. So down on last week, but still, decent. But, Ireland's attack certainly improved and caused some issues. Onto discipline then. 10 penalties conceded by Ireland, 6 for Italy. So well done, Italy, because again, we always say keep it in the single figures. Ireland definitely have to improve their penalty count. And especially, the scrum was obviously the big issue for them today. Free kicks conceded them 1 each. Offensive penalties, 3 for Ireland and none for Italy. And then on the defensive side, 7 for Ireland and 6 for Italy. And then 1 yellow card each as well. Onto the breakdown. Rucks won, 99 for Ireland to 91 for Italy. 3 rucks lost for Ireland, 2 for Italy. And then rucks 0 to 3 seconds percentage, 49 for Ireland, 40 for Italy. And rucks 4 to 6 seconds, 34 for Ireland, 43 for Italy. And then rucks over 6 seconds, 17% each. And then breakdown steals, 2 for Ireland and 1 for Italy. So looking at that, Ireland had some of the quickest ball last week and didn't look set in attack. They looked a little bit better this week, but still there's definitely, there needs to be more, I think, intent and running lines, but also support for ball carriers as well. To really exploit that quick ball, because a lot of dithering, especially when Casey and Prendergast were on at halfback. Italy, pretty sure that's an improvement in terms of their overall ball speed as well this week, because they were the slowest team. They're almost a second slower on average than any other team. I think last week, like they were averaging something around 3.6, 3.7 seconds, and almost all of the other teams were around 2.7 seconds. So from the slowest ball last week, they did really well. Improved this week. And as I said, they caused some issues for Ireland. If not for handling errors, things might have gone well. On to then the set piece. So scrums, Ireland winning 5 out of 6. And Italy winning 5 from 5. But again, it does not tell the story of the fact that Italy absolutely dominant, like popping Irish players up in the air for fun in that. Lineouts then, Ireland 9 from 10. And Italy 15 from 17. then 1 line-out steal each. And Italy last week stole 4 Scotland line-out. So Ireland's line-out, you got to give credit to them there. Defensively as well, getting that steal. But I think, I feel that, again, if Ireland, put more focus on attacking the opposition line-out, I think we get more joy out of that, because we have a lot of really good jumpers who can target opposition ball, but I don't feel like we're doing it enough. And so let's talk about each of the teams. So first off, Italy, I thought defense was excellent, putting lots of pressure on Ireland. I thought their kicking game was the better of the two teams. Obviously, the scrum, absolutely massive for me. Probably the best scrum in the Six Nations. It's going to be interesting to see them against England and France, I think, later in the tournament. Also on attack, last week, a lot of their kind of line breaks came from Menoncello. We got a few this week, but also I thought they worked the space on the width better this week as well, and getting the likes of Lina and Pani involved, and then later on Ioane and Odogwu when he come on as well. So and I thought some better decision making from Italy this week as well, compared to what we've seen in previous seasons too. So overall, massive positive for them, and it would have been terrible, I think, had they not gotten at least a losing bonus point out of the game. And they're going to be massively on the up, following the first 2 performances of the tournament. Then for Ireland, I thought, well, first off, debate about 10 should be over now. I think, I'd like to see maybe Prendergast kind of taken out of firing line, but Crowley should be the starting 10 for the rest of the tournament. And I think Harry Byrne needs to start coming into the conversation now about that bench spot with Prendergast as well. Tom McCluskey did really well at 12, and it's great to see, maybe it's the fact that there's more Ulster players in the team now, but the fact that players are gambling on him getting his hands free through tackles and stuff, I think made a big difference here as well. Scrum needs to be hugely improved, and I think we're at the stage now where, I know we have injuries and stuff, but injuries like this is why I think you need to have more specialist scrum coaches. Like, previously when we had issues like this, we brought in a specialist coach at the RFU level, and they got lent out to the provinces. I think that needs to happen. Also, just, the line out certainly improved, but, I still think defensively, more jumping more often, I think would be better for us, because we seem to get more, more results from that than staying on the ground, especially away from our own 22. Then, as I said, Crowley come on, I thought was really good. I thought Gibson Park, when he come on too, was good. Izujuku, excellent as well. And Balakoon was, when he got his hands on the ball, was sensational. I thought there was a much better balance in the back 3 as well. But, Osborne, I thought, better game of fullback. A few mistakes, certainly. Low, brilliant return to the team from him as well. So there are certainly positives there for Ireland, but it feels like, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be tweaked and needs to be got right. And in a way that is more permanent than, let's just fix it for the next game, which seems to be happening with a lot of stuff now. But yeah, overall, I think Ireland will feel good with the result, but Italy will feel a lot better about the performance.